All right, folks, this is Burnin' for Dallas. I am your host, Evan Price from the On Your Left Power Rankings, and I'm here with three of my favorite people in the sport of triathlon. And Benny Randall, Josh Money Monda is back in studio, and Caleb the Kale Salad Pennington hanging out at home, not in his car this time. Awesome. These are three friends, training partners, and for the purpose of this podcast, also immediate competition to each other in 5 weeks, 4 weeks, one or the other. I'm going to get it wrong every single week. We are somewhere halfway through this thing, basically, at this point. 5 weeks. There you go. We are halfway to the race. All right. So we are here to discuss Dallas Little Elm, our builds to it. We're in the thick of it, boys. I think we're clear of the offseason now. The offseason can officially be done, I think, at this point. We are into February. Races are in March. We're rolling right now. So let's roll through our total volumes. We're going to skip the best and worst session because we got other stuff to talk about today. So we are just going to roll through what everybody's last 7 days looked like. Now, we are all missing our Sunday of this week because this is Saturday evening for us. So we all just got done with our Saturday training, and we're going to talk Sunday to Saturday, basically, your volume. So rolling 7 average. Let's go. Monda's got, I know Josh has his training peaks up first. So let's go, Josh. What's your rolling? What's your volume for the week? And give us one workout you just want to talk about, just one thing that happened.
I wasn't here last week, so I wanted to brag that last week I got 22:30, 22 hours and 30 minutes of swim, bike, run.
No stretching? Okay.
Nope. 25 hours if
SWB.
you include everything else.
Yep.
So, which when you're old, I just kind of feel like
you're going to die on this hill.
Yoga and PT work and stuff like that, like it takes a toll. Like it's stress on the system.
Stress is stress.
Yeah.
But I think the time is a little, maybe we give 50% on the time.
Okay. I got you.
Maybe that's fair. Maybe a 50% chop in time is fair. I'll give it though. I like it.
And then actually pretty much with the rolling 7 days, also at 22 hours and 15 minutes. So 11 hours of biking, about 42 miles of running, and 23K of swimming.
Nice.
And then what, best workout?
Yep. Just give like one that you want to talk about. It can be your best.
Well, the one I want to talk about is the reason I wasn't on the pod last week, and that was the 1,500 meter free.
That's what we want
that I raced in Bellevue, Washington. It's called the Bellevue Mile, and very interesting. That was my first ever swim meet, and it was a master's swim meet, and there's only one event, the 1,500 meter free, nothing else. So,
how many heats?
I think there were 10 heats, because there was a field limit of 70 and there were 7 lanes. So there were 10 heats. And yeah, so it was just kind of interesting that, I was like around all these masters swimmers, but they were only distance swimmers. So that was just
two guys. Talk about two guys there. The two older, one guy that we know very well, and then the guy that you got to meet from Seattle.
Yeah, so the guy that we know very well is David Hathaway. He's 65. We swim with him at Cascade Athletic Club. His girlfriend is the world record holder in the 100 butterfly for 50-year-old women. And he is like a state record holder in like various distance freestyle swimming events. So we swim with him all the time. He's fast. On my good days, I can kind of hang with him on like some 100 repeats. Some days he drops me though. But what we got to realize though, Evan, is like when we swim with him at the pool, when he's in training, he always wears drag shorts.
I know.
Those red shorts that he wears are always drag shorts. So
he's also a gamer, man. That did not surprise me that he went out and like swam fast in the Bellevue Miles. Like, yeah, he strikes me as a like game day guy for sure.
So the other guy that was in our heat, I was in the fastest heat. I was the slowest heat of the fastest heat. So I was in lane 1 at the very end of the pool. And next to me was David. And then next to him was a guy that Ari Clow trains with up in Seattle, 75-year-old former 2-time Olympian in the breaststroke, Rick Colella. And he went on that day to, in the swim meet on Sunday, to break the world record for 75-year-olds at that distance.
What was the previous? He had to shatter the previous record because he did 19.
19
low, 19,
yep.
18. Oh my God, he's 75. That's incredible.
That's disgusting.
19. I'm not sure what the previous.
Kale, what are you doing for 15? How much are you beating this 75-year-old by?
Yeah, and give us a reference too. Like, what is 1918
like
per
per 100.
119, Kale, is that right? Yeah.
You're
Josh
gonna get
got it.
closer to 117. 15's 117.
That's
Um,
that's
that's
so
yeah.
fast at
I mean,
75. That's like
what would I
mind-bogglingly
go?
fast at 75.
Yeah, that's incredible. I would be a little quicker than that, but still, like maybe a minute
Yeah,
or
yeah, you
so
would.
faster. That's at
Like
75. That's
18 low would
crazy.
be really good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
That's so wild.
it was pretty cool. Like I was the slowest person in the heat. And as I saw like 100 to go, I could like see like all these people like celebrating and stuff and like all this big hoopla going on. And I'm like, oh, okay, somebody must have broke a record. And I still had like 2 laps to swim.
Dude, that's fine though. I mean,
What did you?
like you 5 years ago would have been so impressed with the time you just swam though.
Yeah, so I swam 20:54, which that's a
23.
123 high per 100-meter pace. So maybe like 115, 116 for short course yards. And I mean, the biggest thing I was excited about was that, Evan, you know this, in the days leading up to the race, I was practicing diving from the blocks
Yep.
at our pool at Cascade. And every single master swimmer that saw me dive from the blocks, nobody tried to tell me what to do to get better. Everybody just said, hey, don't dive from the blocks on race day. Like, you can just do a push start or you can
That's
like
why I'm
dive
your
from the
biggest
wall.
cheerleader, man. I was there like, no, screw that. Like, no, jump from the blocks. It doesn't need to look pretty.
And so everybody had me convinced that like, all right, yeah, I can just like do a push start or like dive from the wall. Like, it's a master swim event. I don't need to dive from the blocks. But once I got there and I realized I was lining up with an Olympian and I was
You're
in the
like, I gotta
fastest
jump from
wave,
the
I was
blocks.
like, yeah, I was like, I'm not doing a push start. Okay. I was like,
Out of respect for a 75-year-old guy diving from the blocks, you're like, yeah, I can do this.
yeah.
I want to
So
see a video of his dive, actually.
yeah, I think you saw a video of my dive.
I did. It wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't, it was, you dive a little flat when you come in, but you've always done that. So it wasn't that bad, though.
So I'll say my biggest win wasn't the time. It was getting off the blocks without losing my goggles. First swim meet ever.
No breathlessness either, too. That's been an issue at the starts of harder swim efforts like that and race days. So that's huge.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. I mean, I didn't think about my breath, like getting breathless or anything the whole time. But I noticed that just the whole event went by really fast. Like in my head, I thought because we do all this short stuff swimming in the pool, that like, 1,500 meters in a pool, it's just going to feel like an eternity. But we swim 1,900 meters and 3,800 meters all the time in races. And so 1,500 meters in the grand scheme of things, 20 minutes. Like it flew by. You just get into a rhythm.
The wall's got to break it up nicely too. Just like it's just a new stimulus every 25.
Yeah, and at the far end of the pool, you have a lap counter, and so they're always like putting a little whatever number lap you're on down in the water. So that's kind of nice. You have like somebody to like, you get to see like a number popping up every couple laps.
Very cool.
It was a good time. Yep.
Good. All right, moving on to Kale.
What did you go out in?
I went out in 117.
That's a good go.
I went out in 117, and I don't think that was too fast.
That's my VO2 pace right now.
Everybody else went out in like 114 or lower. And so honestly, I think a lot of it was just my start.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good start. Like, we had kind of texted back and forth. Like, you want to go out really hard for that because you want to just try to stay with the group as long as you can. It sounds like that probably helped a little bit. Just kind of staying in contact.
Yeah. Yep.
But I can go over my week. So this week I had 25 hours and 16 minutes. I had 15 hours and 30 minutes of riding.
There you go.
Yeah, it was a big week. It was really nice here in PNW. There was a couple 60-degree days, so I wanted to get outside and like actually try out. I got a new pair of aero bars, so I wanted to give those a spin. And just under 42 miles and swam just right at 20K, trying to stay consistent around there. It was a pretty good week. I came off feeling really good. Like that extra ride can always throw a wrench in the works, but I felt like I ate enough food and did enough recovery work to kind of make it through. And the session that I wanted to talk about this week was a bike session. I feel like I have a couple decent swim sessions in there too, but this bike session really stuck out because that's kind of been the focus for the last whole year. Like obviously I want to get my run better, but getting the run better just takes time, and it honestly takes physiological changes that don't come in 6 months or a year. Like I have a swimmer's body, and you're not gonna really slim down crazy over 6 months. Like you want to take your time doing that. So been focusing on the bike,
Mhm.
and I did six rounds of 8 minutes as 4 at 70.3 effort and 4 at like 40K effort. And I went out like super conservative, just pushing like 290, 320 for the first like 4 minute splits. And then after that, I kind of built up to doing the last 3 rounds were 310 and 240, and then 315, 345, and 315, 350. So to be able to push, 350 at the
Nice,
end
dude.
of a 48-minute set, like I was feeling pretty good going fast in the aero bars, and my heart rate was
Mhm.
staying like around 165, which is not a whole lot higher than I would race at. So I feel like that's like
Mhm.
just for me, like really reassuring, like the outdoor work has been getting done, and or it's the indoor training is applying to the outdoor work. So I was pretty stoked about that.
Did you feel pretty comfortable in the aero bars during that too, Kale? I know we talked about the computer kind of rubbing up against your forearm, but like just the position itself.
Yeah, I feel like it really opened up my lungs a lot. I feel like you can when you have a bigger frame, like it's kind of hard to get it to fit aero. And like with like I mean, the swimmer shoulders, like it's hard to get those tucked like really, really tight. But I feel like the
Mhm.
new ones allow that chest to kind of open up just a little bit so I can breathe just a little bit deeper. So I'm really liking them. It's an
That's
expensive
good.
upgrade, but I feel like they're worth it so far and feel like the speed kind of correlated to what I was hoping to see.
We're
What
all
bars are
stoked.
these,
Yeah.
Kale? What bars?
I got the Vision Metron TFE Pro. They just dropped in like November. They're almost the exact same as the Fast TT. Like it's almost the exact same mold. It's just kind of half the price.
They look
Yeah,
almost
they're like
exactly the same. Yeah.
super sweet. Yeah, I really like them. They feel super nice. They have like the like 3D mold all the way up, which is kind of I think what most of pro field is moving to now. And it seems to be I don't know how much faster it is, but it's definitely more comfortable and you can definitely like tuck in way tighter.
Did you have to
Yeah.
make any extra adjustments or get any adapters for them to fit on your bike?
Yeah, so they have an adapter that you can do for your round. I want to call it, of course, I'm a bike mechanic. I'm going to mess it up, but like your 41.2 millimeter base bar, they have an adapter for that. It's like 50 extra bucks, which kind of stinks
Mhm.
because it's comes as just you bolt on to the like where the pads would go on like your Cervelo where you can kind of bolt into it, but you have to buy an adapter for everything.
And then do you have like the BTA? Does it come with like a BTA setup, or is that something you have to
No, I
figure
had
out
bought my
still?
own. Yeah, I had bought my own BTA from what's the Tri Rig, I think, with like their universal mount, and then bought a couple 3D printed like big stack pieces to kind of get it up into my chest. It looks pretty professional for how much Jimmy rigging's going on, but we're getting there.
Us triathletes, we're good at Jimmy rigging.
This is where it pays to be a bike
I
mechanic
don't know.
too. That's for sure.
Well, 100%. Yeah, you have to change out the bolts all the time because they rust so quickly. Yeah, it is nice to be able to finagle it and make it work.
All these front ends are a disaster, Kale,
Or
as you know, with like salt accumulation too. They are just
or if
it's the
Evan's
bane of
extra
our
salty.
existence.
Yeah, Evan is extra salty on
Dude,
his,
I
so
don't know
he's
what it
gotta.
is because I never thought I was that salty of a sweater until we had to clean that out, and I'm like, apparently I am. So there was my
Have
Gatorade
you done a
test.
PFH test?
No,
Last question,
no.
Kale. Last question I had is the power that you were putting out this week. Is that around what you were pushing towards the end of last season for 70.3 or for like 40K pace work, or have those numbers gone up through the off season?
Yeah, so in the build into 70.3 La Quinta, I didn't really do any 40K efforts. My coach is really big on like long, sustained like rounds of 70.3 pace. And I was doing like 305 to 310 for like we would do a minute at VO2 into like 12 or 15 minutes at 90K pace, and that was like 310. So it's like about the same. It felt really good, and my heart rate was below 150 for all the efforts that were like the first 4 minute efforts. Which, like, don't get me wrong, like, it takes a little bit for your heart rate to get up. So that average is skewed, and I'd like to see how it's going to look over 20 minutes. But having it not
Mhm.
break 150 even at the end, it does give me some confidence.
That's good, dude. That's a great
Nice.
workout. All right, Benny, give us your week and highlight a workout for us.
Yeah, so I've been crunching the numbers as you guys have been talking. For the rolling 7 day, I think looks like I'm at 15 hours from last Sunday to today on the bike. That does include 2 long rides because my long ride last weekend was on Sunday and long
Okay,
ride was
fair.
today.
I know, because I actually am in your training peaks right now, and I was like, wait, the rolling seven was like, okay, that makes sense. The long
Yeah.
ride got bumped to Sunday, so yeah, that's a while then rolling seven. That looks
Yeah.
much better.
5. I think a little over 5 hours of running. I might have this wrong, about like 50, maybe like 55 miles. And then I have about 7 hours of swimming in my training peaks or in my Strava, and that's about like 25K. So that's somebody crunched the numbers. That's
21,
26.
26 or 7. Yeah,
Yeah.
26. Somewhere in the 26s. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the Sunday long run or ride in there. So the
Right.
week Monday to Sunday will probably end up around 24, somewhere like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Something
25
around
maybe.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, best, or I guess session that stood out I probably would call it the best session was a diabolical 16 by 1K session that you guys gave me.
You're gonna overshadow my run workout for sure with this, but yeah.
That's like,
You're a threshold farmer now.
yeah, welcome to the Ari and Greg Harper can welcome me to their club. Yeah, no, I've never done really anything more than, I don't think, 10 by 1K. And I actually had a lot of people message me throughout that day because I was trying out like a new bicarb, like
Your coach is
lactate
an
buffer
idiot.
thing. Yeah, which is a lot of just stuff like that's a lot of volume.
How many weekly messages do you get where you're like, I should coach you? Your coach is an idiot.
Well, the funny thing is, percent of those messages are from Ian King. If you guys,
Who knows me? Who knows me too? Yeah.
If you guys know Ian King, like he swipes up
He's a
on
great guy.
everything, and he just is
Yeah.
always like, "That's a dumb session," or something like that. But yeah, no, that session was really good. It was 16 by 1K and 45-second jog, and started at 3:15 and worked down to I think 2:54 for the last one. It was like a pretty steady like descent. Like for I think most of those middle ones, I was in that like 310, 307 range.
Mhm.
But felt really, really good. I was in the 160s, like in terms of heart rate for most of the session. I really didn't start hitting like true threshold heart rate for me. And I felt like I was actually producing lactate and stuff until like maybe the last 3. So really, really good omen. Can't say that I was running that well, like in any of the builds last year. So I'm really hoping that can be kind of a sign for hopefully things to come in terms of just being able to really finish out 108, 109 or something on a half course.
Those shorter rest like threshold run efforts right now, I'm really liking from a coaching perspective too, like experiencing them too. I really think those are a secret sauce for triathlon, because track and field, and Benny, you know this, like touching the speed is really important. So like I get why descents happen in coaching in the track and field world, where it's like start at 320K and you end up at 250 by the last rep or whatever. But in triathlon, like we're never touching 250K pace. So like really just like the good term farming, like getting as many reps as you can in that little bit slower than what would be track and field pace off of shorter rest, I do think is like a serious like secret sauce for triathlon. And it's not, I mean, it's just a hard workout. Like I'm not pretending like this is some groundbreaking workouts. There's a ton of people doing them, but I think this is becoming more common to see in elite triathlon. Like, and I'm even trying to tailor these for some of my age groupers as a safer way to expose that threshold effort is just shorter with a little bit less rest. And just don't go as fast as you think you need to go. Just keep on, I'd rather see somebody do 16 reps of a 1K than 8 by 1K and it becomes a VO2 workout for a triathlete, at least for somebody who races over the half iron distance.
Yeah.
Just as a bread and butter workout.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we did a lot of like 6 to 8 by 1K in college. And yeah, exactly. But it would be on like 3 to 4 minutes standing rest, like not even jogging and stuff, but
sometimes
I mean, we'd be
not
starting
even marked rest. It's just like when the coach is like, "Hey, we ready to go?" Yep. Like it's not this like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, go again. Yeah.
And when is like triathletes do like we'd start at 3 and we'd be at like 2:45.
Yeah, just flying by the end.
And like as a triathlete, like why? Like what's the purpose of a workout where we're like standing for 3 or 4 minutes? Yeah,
it's a more dangerous
like
workout. Definitely, yeah. It is definitely a more dangerous workout for half iron people. Definitely.
Ben, were you taking in fuel during this track session?
Yeah, I actually had a bottle that had 90 grams in it.
Good job.
And I sipped, I think I just left it like at lane 1 and I tried to like sip a third of it after 4, after 8, and then after 12. Yeah. And it worked well. I didn't have any like GI distress. So
that's a great job getting that down. That's tough at threshold. That's very hard to get that down at threshold. Yeah.
You weren't doing that a year ago when...
No, I wasn't taking
doing that in college.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we'll roll through mine quick. I'm at 23 hours, 10 minutes for the rolling 7. That's like right around 20K swimming, a little bit over. I didn't look at the cycling total. We'll say this week my cycling total is going to be, it's like 11 hours mid, somewhere in there, just under 12 hours. And then my treadmill continues to rob me on distance. Who cares? That's a Morgan Pearson who cares for sure. Is my treadmill is making me seem way more out of shape than I am on the run, definitely, which is fine. I'm actually okay with that. I like the people thinking that I just jog at 8:30 pace for LT1, but it's I think like around, it's going to be over 50 miles the last 2 weeks on the run. If we're adjusting for the treadmill, it's like right at 50. It'll be like 50 to 54 both weeks, I think. And that's probably where we'll float all the way to Dallas if that's what coach wants. But yeah, highlight in a workout. I'm going to highlight like just, yeah, no, I'm going to take the run workout. I actually wanted to highlight the last 3 swim days. Like Josh is swimming faster than me. Kale swimming faster than me. Benny in the pool swimming faster than me. I just had a really good 3 days for me in the pool. But these run workouts are getting funny for me. Like 20, what was the workout? Like I'm looking at 25 by
75 seconds.
By 75 seconds, only 30 seconds rest. Now I'm doing these on the Woodway treadmill because the 30 seconds rest on a track would suck. Because I like run by, walk back, and awkwardly just go into the next one. So from a physiology standpoint, I'm really glad we have a very nice Woodway treadmill in our clinic that feels exactly, I mean, it feels perfect. But because I just do the 115, hop off, 30 seconds, sip, back on. And it's just this like hamster wheel of a workout that feels terrible to start. And then by 15 reps in, I'm like, well, we're committed to finishing this thing at the paces that I'm forcing myself to run. But it was good. Ended the last 4 or 5 reps would have been 113 400s. So it was like 12.2 to 12.4 finish, I want to say. It was somewhere around there. Starting at 11.2, I think, and then worked all the way down from there. So, I mean, for me, I don't know if I've done a workout like that. I don't think I've ever done like a 25 by 400 before. For me, those paces start to feel, a 112 to 113 is probably like VO2 running right now. A minute, 12 seconds is not long enough for it to be a true VO2 stimulus, but only 30 seconds rest makes it feel VO2 towards the end. So I was very happy that like I'm recovering aerobically really quickly in between these. I'm sure, Ben, you started to feel it towards the end of those 16s. It's a really good feeling when you like don't feel aerobically strained in a workout that would have like scared you to death running wise, like at least for me, like a couple months ago. So I know the running's heading in the right direction. Just got to keep on clicking off these every single time it uploads into Training Peaks. I know it's just some ridiculous workout Ari is like concocted with. He's just, and I can't complain. Like, what am I going to do? Complain to Ari Clow, who's running like 80-mile weeks and does a 40 by 400 that week? I'm like, well, I can't say this is hard because it's not compared to what he's running.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, I have a question on the Woodway, and you might have said this.
Yeah.
Was it because it was raining like really heavily outside, or
Not
was that a
that
thing
day.
from last week? Okay.
No, that was from last week. This week it was just because the stimulus felt so spot on.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of that Woodway forcing me to run a 113. I know that I can go on a track and still kind of like get in that methodical thing, but I liked being like I didn't want to let myself settle into like a 116, 117 if I could keep on clicking it up. And I knew the best way to do that would just be, it's a VO2 stimulus. So I'm like, this is meant to feel very hard by the end. So
yeah. No, that's a great session. And a Woodway is like I don't even know. A Woodway is like the Yellow Geeds of treadmills, I feel like.
Oh,
if you had to compare it to anything
nice.
else. It's
our clinic is amazing. I love it. Josh has run on Josh, you probably ran on the tank Woodways we have. We have 3 Woodways in our clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The double Woodway?
Mm-hmm. The double Woodway. That's like raised up so we can take good video from it at all.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah. We're very lucky to have that.
Evan, so you had pretty good last couple weeks. Like you've had a really solid last couple weeks. Obviously, I don't know if everybody knows that Ari and myself coach Evan by committee, and might be a conflict of interest that I coach Evan and I coach Ben with Evan by committee. And
this is how good
Kale's my little brother.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be like beating all of you guys. I'm trying to beat all you guys in a few weeks.
We're just all by committee coaching each other on this podcast, which is a funny way to admit on this podcast. Yeah, it's like a lot of inner coaching going on here. But that's the coolest part about this sport is like we all want to beat each other, but I want us all going like 352 in Dallas and it's just like seconds within it. Like that would be an ideal perfect day. But I think it's great because it just shows that like there is a real, at least in the pro world that I see, there is a real camaraderie of like you want to beat guys on their best day. You don't want somebody going in there
Yep.
and a guy's got a niggle or this or that, or, you know, I know Lionel's even talked about this on the world level. He respects, you know, the Norwegians so much. He's like, no, I want them there at their absolute best. And on a much lower level, that is exactly how I think we all look at each other. Awesome. All right, guys, rolling through to the next topic. We're going to hit a really quick one here. I want you to give me one day. So people listening to this, I think the one interesting part that the four of us give to this is we all four have jobs and one of us has kids outside of this. So we could say a typical week, but just these last 7 days. Let's look at the last 7 days. What was your busiest life and training day of the week? Give it to us like a breakdown from like when you woke up to when you go to bed, but just roll through it quick. Like the most obnoxious Instagram posts, but we'll just talk through it. Let's go Kale first. We'll go Kale, Benny, Josh for this.
Every time. You make me go first every single time. So my busiest day was probably Wednesday. I had my days are never like incredibly busy at once. It's just every single day is just about the same. And it's get up around 6 a.m., go for a swim, and then we're gonna go it was a 3-hour bike ride with the bike ride effort day, a brick run after that, and then I get 2 hours to hang out and relax on the couch, play a little Fortnite with my brother. You know, you got to spend time with your family, and then go for another run in the evening, and then go work for 4 hours at the pool. So that day
Wait, you
consists
ran
of
double that day?
yeah.
You doubled? Oh, wow. Okay. Dang.
So I mean, it's like around 5 hours of training, 4 hours of working, an hour of commuting, and then just kind of relaxing in and out wherever I can during that, trying to get home by like,
You,
I get home at like 8 and try to go to bed by 10.
you got
It's
home
not
late,
like,
Kale, because you work bike shop hours, which are obviously everybody's like you got to be there pretty late, and that commute is brutal. Like I know that too. I mean, it's
it's,
not a fun commute.
yeah, there's tough days where like you'll have a long day and then you got to drive like 40 minutes into work and then be there and stand around or like, cause you're standing the whole time. Like at the shop, I can sit down, but at the
Mm-hmm.
pool, you can't sit down. Like you're coaching, like it's not a workout, but if I wore my watch, I'd get like 10 TSS, or I'm up there yelling
Yeah,
at the kids. So it's,
time on feet,
but
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
cool. That's brutal. All right, moving on. Benny, give us your. I think I have an idea what Benny's busiest days too. I was gonna guess Kale's too because I knew that Kale's swim coaching now too. Benny, give us your day.
Yeah, it's probably today. Tuesdays are I've kind of turned into a really busy day because it's like a morning, wake up into like a brick session and then work all day. But yeah, I think Saturday because I work like every day this month at Runner's Roost, at like the local running store from like 2 to 7:30 or so in the afternoons. So it's usually just like an early morning wake up and then yeah, long ride and make sure make sure that Mabel's taken care of and someone can watch her and everything like that and also prepping to make sure that I'm taken care of and that I have like food so that I'm standing on my feet for the next 5.5 hours at the running store. It's honestly kind of similar to the kale salads day.
Eating is very tough in your guys' days too. That
Yeah.
is not an easy, like it's a very underrated tough part of this is anybody who has the more evening work hours there is like that runs straight through dinner time. So that's tough when you get home later. All right, Josh, the only one of us with children in this group too. So Josh's day is 23 hours long
Yeah.
and he sleeps 1 hour.
Yes. I mean, every day is pretty hectic. Fridays might be the hardest just because that's when I choose to do my long ride. And that's just to free up time on the weekend so that I'm not doing my long ride on the weekends when the kids have other activities during the daytime. So that means Friday, I'm usually up and at it at my work computer by 5 a.m., work for a couple hours on my day job and coaching until 7 a.m., help the kids around the house, make sure they're doing stuff to get out the door and on the bus by 7:30. A 5K swim from myself from about 7:30 to let's say 9:30. Then I get in my car. I have to log all my workouts and cringe opening up my email app because I know there's going to be a ton of emails from work.
You used to have to do that on long rides too. I felt bad. We used to have to like stop every once in a while. You'd be like, I got to answer this.
Yeah. I used to have I have my phone on do not disturb now on my long rides because otherwise just all the incoming calls and emails just some people
It's
have
extra
notifications
stress,
on their
man.
Garmin and it's like I cannot have notifications on my
Terrible.
Garmin device. No. But yeah, then I get home and I probably do about an hour and a half of work and eating and fueling and preparing for the bike workout. And then I'm on the bike from let's say 11 to 3 p.m. And then I got to answer a bunch of emails and catch up on everything I missed from work while I was gone and try to get some food in me. And then the kids get home from school and I take Friday's busy for Max because I take Max, my youngest son, to baseball. He has a catcher's clinic from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then he has boxing, which
Oh,
we're
yeah.
at
I forgot he has
boxing
the boxing
from
there too.
6 p.m. or 6:15 p.m. to 8:30, 8 to 8:30 p.m. Just kind of depends on the day
And you
and
run with
what
them
they're
too
doing.
during that. So time on feet, you're literally running with them.
I do run with him, and I do actually do a little bit of. I mean, I'm a boxer, former boxer at nature, so if I'm in the gym, like I'm not just standing around. I usually do like a little bit of stuff, hitting the bag or doing the strength work with the kids and stuff like that. So yeah, by 8:30, by like 9 p.m., Max and I are home and eating dinner, and yeah, it's a long day.
Josh was like the opposite of like lazy basketball parents I grew up with in Ohio who would just like sit there screaming at the coach or whatever. Josh is like running with the kids and beating them up at the same time. That's awesome, man.
Josh just
That's
might
it.
be Rocky. Like, are we sure that Josh isn't just Rocky? Oh my gosh.
Dude, I thought for a hot second there Josh was going to leave triathlon last year or the year before when he was like, I mean, he was like training boxing for a bit there. I know he did when he was younger, but there was a hot second where I was like almost having to sell triathlon back to him. I was like, please don't quit. I can't do this completely solo in this.
It, it definitely is a future side quest that will take place at some point. The funny thing about boxing is when I go there, they're so like blown away by like the amount of work that we do and how much we run and bike and swim that it's like they just like gas me up and then they're like then they want me
I'm
to
way
like get in
more
the ring and
impressed
like
by how
spar with
fast they
them.
move. I'm way more scared by how quick they can punch than anything we do. That's awesome, man. Yeah, so I would say my typically my busy days, I work my clinical schedule, so it goes Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. I coach almost 24 people now, going to be 25 soon. So that takes up a lot of my Monday, Thursdays, and I always try to leave Monday, Thursdays where I can train a lot. So Wednesday, I think lately has become my like really busy day because I'm trying to throw a swim in there too. But I'm like Josh, I get up and I like to work first in the morning, like coaching wise, and just like I get my medical notes done in the morning from the previous day. Always, I never let medical notes sick. That since the beginning of my career used to stress me out if I ever had like sitting medical notes. Anybody who's a medical provider knows this. If you have like Friday comes along and you have like 40 notes or whatever sitting there, it's like the most stressful thing in the world. So I get them done in the morning always. And then I usually have a 7 a.m. patient. I got to drive down to Portland. I get to miss the traffic, which is great. And then these days, usually I have like a morning break at some point. So I now will just do the run, which is also great just to be able to hop on the woodway because I don't know what it is about. I try to explain, like Josh 100% gets this, and I tried to explain this to Ari a little bit with like the mental stress for me for whatever reason. Sometimes an indoor workout takes away a little bit of like the mental strain needed to be like, let's plan a route outside and go and do this, and then the stress of like, what if I flat? And I'm like, there's a patient waiting at, literally the clinic for me. So I really do like that I have a trainer and a really nice treadmill right there. So like if I have 90 minutes, it's like boom. And I have had some of my patients have know me very, very well. Like I will be finishing up a workout and I am capable, we have a clinic shower, I'm capable of a 2-minute shower. And I can come back and there'll be a patient like walking in as I'm run to the shower, run back, grab them. And I've gotten good at making sure that I'm still engaged at that point. But that's why it's always better for me sometimes just to knock out like a treadmill run on some of these harder ones if it's going to be a tight turnaround. And then see more patients, drive over the bridge, which is the bane of my existence, to get to Cascade over lunch, eating lunch in the car, which is just a bunch of peanut butter pretzels. I just down peanut butter pretzels. Josh and Ari used to get on me for not eating over my lunches, which was a bad habit. And then swim, floor it back over like 22 minutes back to the clinic, see the next patients. And my last patient's done at 6 p.m. And then it's a drive home, get home by 7 p.m. So I'm very lucky nowadays. That's only like 2 days a week. It used to be 4 5 days a week when I first started my career, which was terrible. And I was not a fun person to be around. So I'm very lucky that now it is just a couple days. Thank God. Josh knew me. Josh was the only human being who would understand the like 45-minute lunch swim. Thank God, like I trained with you, because like trying to explain that to somebody else where it's like, this has to be like literally exactly 45 minutes, like it can't be a second longer.
I don't know how you weren't just so stressed, because sometimes we'd still be in the water and there'd probably be a patient like checking in at your clinic, like getting ready to see you, and like
it was pretty flush.
You still have to like cool down.
It was pretty flush timelines. I'm very like, I mean, I don't think I'm a very talented athlete, but there is like one thing I think I'm very talented with is I'm really good at like turning on my clinic person, no matter how tired I am. Like I have a voice, I have like a personality for anybody who's seen me in the PT clinic. And it's like, it might be fake. People might call it fake. It's not fake. It's just like, I want people to feel like Matt Walsh always talks about this, like make an experience. He said, like, you make an experience for the hour that person's there and they'll want to come back. And Josh experienced this, you know, like being an hour with Matt Walsh is an experience. And I always wanted that to be the same exact thing that I am. So no matter how tired I like turn that side of my personality on, but it does get tiring at times. Yeah. Thank God I don't have to do that anymore. I don't think I could have done that for many more years.
And it makes you good at transitions too.
I think it does. Really good. Well, it makes you and me better. Just having that side of our aspect makes us way better at like stressful race mornings too. I'm like, this is not that bad. Like this is like, we're stressed there, but I'm like, this is like the chaos around this can be handled. Like you have 2 kids. You're just like, yeah, I mean, this is bad, but like the people are like anxious and losing their minds. I'm just like, trust me, just get yourself a nice stressful job and this won't seem that bad. Just work in the medical field for like 5 years and this will seem easy.
Yeah, I was just going to say like the 2-minute shower. This is hilarious that I'm about to point this out because I'm notoriously slow in transitions, but like I like you said that you can do a 2-minute shower. Like, man, I think that I have so much time and I hop in the shower and then like 8 minutes gone.
Dude, there you go. Shorten your shower. That's the key to fast transitions is if you can make your shower less than 2 to 3 minutes, you're nailing transition.
Start putting a timer on it. Yeah.
I got a process. There's a process. You just repeat it every single time. Boom, get out of there. No time to think. Yeah. I don't have shower thoughts. I've never had a shower thought. Okay, guys. So one quick question. We're still going to be on good time here. Don't worry. We talked about this before the podcast. This is a funny question to bring in here. Are aero helmets okay on training rides?
Good one.
All right. I can chime in here because I poked this question this morning because I was heading out for a long ride and I was staring at the what is it, Rudy Project Wing Dream, because I haven't worn it yet. And I was just, I don't know, I saw like windy it was out there and I'm like, man, like should I really put this thing on? And then I envisioned the foolish looks that I get from youths and teenagers, just like
I think it's a super comfortable helmet, so I don't think you actually have to practice in it. Some of the older ones, Josh, like you remember, like the ones that have more of a tail to them, I actually think you wanted to practice in those because they weren't comfortable. And like if a crosswind caught your head, like you kind of needed to be used to that. But like the Wing Dream is an easy helmet to wear. I just don't want to ride in it because I don't want to crash and break it. That's the main thing. That's an expensive crash.
Yeah. My argument would be that I still think a lot of, maybe I shouldn't argue this at all. It works in my benefit. But I think a lot of pro triathletes struggle with holding a good aero position. And part of holding a good aero position is knowing how to ride like with the equipment that you have. And a TT helmet feels a lot different than a road helmet. It's heavier. It sits on you differently, and you want to know how to like have your body in the right position and have your shoulders shrugged so that everything is as narrow as possible, and that helmet just kind of wraps down around your shoulders and your back.
But the Wing Dream is light. That's the reason I would say of all the ones I've practiced in, the Wing Dream felt the easiest just to practice in.
It's actually not.
Work on his head position.
It feels lighter, but it's actually not lighter.
Is it?
It's just the weight distribution on it. It feels lighter, but it is.
What it is. Okay.
Yeah. It's not actually lighter.
It is a pretty big helmet. You're right. Like, I mean, there's a lot of surface area to it.
Yeah, and I would also say it's another good reason you want to practice with it is if you wear that helmet and it's windy, and if you get out of the aero position and you look around, that thing catches a lot of wind. So you want to be like familiar with how that helmet reacts in different race situations that you might find yourself in. So I think it's good to at least maybe ride one or two times. My pro tip: it's a lot easier if you're out there with a friend or two that also have aero helmets. You don't feel as bad if there's a few of you out there. So I know Evan and I have done a number of rides
Many.
with TT helmets.
Many. Kale, you're gonna have to throw on your TT helmet with us. We're gonna go threesome. We're going all the way down Low River Road, looking like idiots. Benny, just message Canute and Metz and be like, "We're riding TT helmets today, boys."
Imagine
Canute will give you
God.
so much crap. I'm sure Canute does
Yeah.
not do that. I'm sure he does not.
If like here's a funny thought. Like imagine pulling up to the group ride and it's fucking Big Mets and Ben Canute and Arrow helmets. Like
Yes,
that's
leave.
a wild thought.
Leave.
Yeah. Get
Yeah.
out of there. Yeah.
Could you imagine you guys show up to like the Tucson shootout? And you just got Sam Long and his full everything race day disc wheel in the back. You're like, all right, I'm dropping out this ride today.
I would say so. I would recommend do one if you haven't used the TT helmet, and maybe if you haven't used that helmet before, I would recommend you do one long ride with long intervals just so you can get comfortable with it, and then save the rest for race week once you're at the race venue and riding out on the roads.
I always ride. I only bring that helmet to race week, and I do agree. If you get like 2 rides in that race week in there, you start to feel pretty good in it, and get used to the clasp. I had to get used to it's a little bit different clasp on the Wing Dream.
Yeah, I was playing around with that. It like doesn't buckle.
Once you get used to it, it's easy, but it's a completely different mechanism than a usual clip. So that is a little something to get used to for transition.
Yeah, that one
All
you
right,
sit
guys.
on your couch with your helmet
over
on,
and over again.
and just practice taking it on and off.
I've seen Josh practice like transition stuff before. Like he genuinely thinks about transition a lot.
I need to have that level of
Focus
heightened awareness
for
for
transition.
transitions.
Yes.
I'm thinking about these showers now, man.
I'm telling you, man. That was how I prepped for cold swims too. Josh remembers it was turn on the shower to full cold blast right into your face. I'll do cold plunges. Cold plunges are stupid. Just get that's what a shower is. Just get a cold, freezing cold shower. It's the same idea.
Yeah, just having the cold water trickle down your face and your shoulders is what causes that
there's a
breathing
vasoconstriction
reflex
response.
Yeah.
And you're right, Josh. I think people who aren't used to that get shocked by it when they first get in the open water.
Yeah, we probably should do that for Dallas. I think the water's going to be most likely under 60 degrees.
It's going to be chilly.
75.
5 Kale, is that what you just said?
Oh no, I said it's going to be 75. You guys have to bring your swim skins.
Oh God,
No,
75. Dream on.
Kale was praying
it was
on
just
that.
snowing in Texas, dude. I don't think I don't think that water can warm up that fast. I don't even think it's even possible.
Let a man dream.
All right, guys. Yes. So we're gonna roll through this one. We're at the official, in my opinion, the end of the offseason. The offseason is over. Okay, that's maybe a lukewarm take, but that's offseason's done. So we're going to go around the horn. We're going to go one at a time person-wise. Josh's structure for this makes way more sense. And the other 3 get to hop in and say one thing they think that person did well in the offseason and one thing they think they were shit at, okay? We'll be hypercritical in this one. We're all each other's cheerleaders. Too much cheerleading in this session so far. Too much patting on the back. We can get a little critical here. So we're going to go one at a time, though. Guess who's first?
Kale.
Kale has to be
I'll go
first.
first.
So we're doing this judgment wise. Kale just basically doesn't get to talk. You can respond, Kale, but this is like a round panel discussion of you. So what has Kale done well this offseason, boys? We know he swims well. That we can just check off. Swims well. Let's get to the bike and run here.
I feel like he's been smart and patient, just with the process.
Yes. With a lot of noise going on around him too.
Yep.
Because there's every offseason. Kale, you were not in the era of the Swim with Stones Discord, but every single offseason now we seem to have a pressure cooker of some group of friends talking about how much they are training so that everybody can one up each other. And you have ignored the noise and then put in a big volume week this last week, which I think shows a lot of maturity for your age, definitely.
Kale is the most likely to make it through the season in one piece.
Yes.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Kale's got the best chance of racing well in November and December.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Be a January champion.
I would say coming from
December
the January champion here, I would say Kale has done like a fantastic job of just like not freaking out. Like I think the last like few pods where we named like the worst session or whatever, and you would just say like some runs or some things where like heart rate would be like a bit higher, but he didn't really I don't know, you didn't really like freak out about it. And I know me as an athlete, I would overanalyze and overthink, and I would think like, oh, I gotta be running more, I gotta do more, and just stuff like this. But I feel like you've handled it really maturely, which
Yeah.
you should hang your hat on.
He nailed a workout too when we were running on the dike too, and just really was smart about that, the pacing, because that environment, Kale, I know that because I used to create those environments where I was like getting a bunch of runners together, and Benny knows this too, and Josh ran in these groups, and Josh remembers these. It's just like the pace gets rolling, and you just like want to win the workout. Like just win some stupid Sunday run, basically. Yeah. And Kale was smart with it. He just ran his paces, which is exactly what you should do in a workout like that, and not cook yourself on 4x1K to start a workout. Okay, so what could Kale have done better this offseason? Critique Kale here.
Little brother, what could you have done better?
I was going to say until this week, he rode a lot of volume on the bike. I think he should have taken the bike a little earlier. And this is me because this is like a critique of the coach too. Kale just does what he's told. I think he should have done a little more intensity on the bike when he got started, actually. I think as soon as the train started again, the volume on the bike needed to be crazy. But I think more touching that ceiling with the lower volume on the bike is the one adjustment I would have made to his training.
Yeah, I kind of feel the thing I'm always surprised is like I always feel like you don't swim that much. Like as far as good of a swimmer as you are. Like I feel like
you guys are gonna go more swim. I love that take. That's a hot take.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of feel like as good of a swimmer you are, is like you should be like I would be want to jumping in the water all the time and like busting out friggin' 102 short course yards.
Yeah, that's just because we don't swim that fast, though. You want to experience that. That's not what would make him a better triathlete.
Yeah, but it baffles me. Like Ben Canoe was like this too. Like if you looked at the swim volume,
how little he was swimming a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense because in the core of his career, he was swimming like a swimmer. So Olympic career.
Well, Ben touched on it, and I really agree. Like, if I wanted to get better at swimming, I'd have to swim 30K a week, and it's just like I would much rather ride 15 hours than
also
swim
for what,
10
like
hours
a
a
minute?
week.
Less than a minute. At your speed, less than a minute, maybe 40 seconds. Yeah, like that's
100%.
This is what I'm saying is I think, because I agree with you, Kale, that I think the bike is going to be this year what should progress for you. Like I think you're going to be a good biker. And it might just be too ambitious, but I would have put more intensity into your early off-season block. This is the only change I would have made. Okay, let's go to Josh Money Manda. I already know what he did well this offseason. We all know what Josh did well this offseason. He became a much better swimmer than me. I feel like it's been slowly happening for a while. Like Josh hasn't made any huge jumps into swimming. It's been a very steady progression for years now. Like this very methodical, like for a guy with kids and a job, I actually don't think anybody in triathlon swims 22,000 to 25,000 yards a week as consistently as Josh does. So this wasn't like he went to one swim camp and got fast all of a sudden this year. Like this has been happening for years.
Yeah, it's probably it's the most I've ever focused on anything in my life. Like the swim work that we put in the past few years has been, I've never done anything like that, like anything.
I mean, I have the thought in my head of there's a chance he gets on the right group and comes out under 26 in Dallas. Like that's
hell yeah.
I mean, really, like I think sometimes these groups and these bigger races will stretch out quite a bit. And I don't see any reason Josh can't be on the back of that group and leaving my group, which unfortunately now I lead, well in the dust. So
that'd be huge. Yeah.
I
feel like it's in the cards too.
Josh, you've been doing the little swim stuff right. And like,
yeah, Kale, I want to know what you think about just watching Josh swim too, just in the time you met him too, just like of his stroke and everything.
He takes feedback incredibly well. Like Evan's always talked to me about this. That swimmers, like I'll always just give you guys little tips that like I see like a mistake you're making, and then I just try to help a little bit. And I tell Josh like, hey, like you need to cup your hand more like this, and I'd never see him have his hand flat like this ever again. Like it's the little stuff he does all the time to just keep reiterating the correct drills is why he's getting so much better. He continues to focus on the drills, not where like the speed's great and like the time trial and swimming at 1500 is awesome. But like at the end of the day, doing the drills right and having the technique to efficiently swim quickly is what is improving his swim right now.
Well, Josh has always had good 50 and 100 speed. Like any 50 or 100 set me and Josh have done, always he has beaten me in. What's more impressive now was seeing that now go into a 1500, which Kale, I think you're right, is that's the focus on the little stuff. Because you only get good at a 1500 when that stuff starts to click. Like obviously you work hard. We all, everybody works hard in the pool and Josh works very hard, but it's like the mental focus becomes such a strength at that point, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, even those 200 to
He's also
400 length repeats. That's where
Dude, I
I've
used to
in the
hang with
past
you all
years
the time
I've
on those.
yeah
I used to make you hurt on those actually
Yeah.
sometimes, and that is I do not at all anymore. We do not do those sets together anymore. Okay, so let's be a little critical of Josh now. Now, this is tough because any criticism I say is also a criticism of one of my favorite coaches in the sport of triathlon, Elliot Bissett. So Josh is not coached by the three of us at this. Josh is coached by an actual coach. No, I'm joking. But he's coached by Elliot Bissett, who we've known. I actually introduced Josh to because I was coached by Elliot for a very short bit too. Loved Elliot, great guy. So Josh has stuck with him since what, 22, Josh?
Yeah, late.
3?
Yep. After I raced Kona as an age grouper in 2022. Yep.
Yep. So I'll throw it to you two boys first. I know Josh is training in detail. You two boys, what do you think Josh could have done better as a 44-year-old in his offseason this last year?
Well,
Less stretching. No, I'm
I
joking.
feel like it's tough because like Josh and I were coming off of similar off seasons where we had a like pretty big injury. So you can't, I don't know. It's like tough to say what more could have been done.
Oh, I'll say
I
it.
don't know. Yeah, I'm actually, I don't know. I'm kind of drawing a blank. Maybe more Zwift races, because the ones I see now on Strava, I'm like, holy shit, this dude just did like 350 for 30 minutes. It's crazy.
There's something about a Zwift race that drags watts out of Josh's legs somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that levels me up. It's Zwift race. I don't think I would do that in any other.
Josh,
like,
do you do a lot of strength training?
Yes.
Like weightlifting?
I wouldn't say a lot, not weight, but I do a lot of. I mean, I do a lot of strength work that's like PT, like the PT work that I have that I got from coming back from my injury it takes me like 40 to 50 minutes to do. And then on top of that, I add in,
set.
and then the one thing I do is calf strength work. And that started out as like a 10-minute routine, just body weight of like maybe like 180 calf raises of different variations. And over the last 2 years, I've gradually like added a little bit of weight, and I'm up to a 70-pound weight vest.
That's good.
With my calf raises.
200 calf raise reps with 70 extra pounds is crazy.
You'd be shocked what the calves can handle. Yeah.
Those are some cannons.
I can load up right now. Dude, I am not a terribly strong calf person. I can grab 260s and do 20 reps, single leg. Now, single leg with a little bit of support. But that's something people would be shocked is actually what your calves can handle if you get in the right position.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was worried I was going to like hurt myself.
I use Chris Johnson's position. Matt uses similar one a little bit, but yeah. Yeah, no, it's a very strong lever. Your ankle is an incredibly strong lever. So off that same note, I would say this isn't a critique of Josh's, but I think looking back, now we got to understand is I am 9 years younger than Josh, and I treat guys in his range, but I don't think Josh is your typical 44-year-old. Josh is an alien. So he came off of an injury, and Josh has been very rarely injured. As I joke with Josh, the only other injury I remember you ever having, Josh, was a slightly pulled hamstring that barely took you out. Like years ago, 2020, when we were training together. And that was like a grade 1 strain that I swear, like, I know it was kind of lingering a little bit for a while, but it really did not take you out for long.
2-3 weeks.
So yeah, like a very injury resilient person. Over the years have seen you though get a little more, not scared of, but I think after this last injury, I think threshold running makes you a little bit more nervous now. I think that's my only critique is I want you to get that like dog in your run back. Because when you were rolling and like running, well, you were not scared of any workout. Like there was zero fear of any run workout. And I think this injury, and we all know, like me having a hip injury too, I understand that little bit of a fear getting back into the fast running. But I know at least for myself, I just had to like you almost have to be a little delusional and just be like, I'm never going to get injured again. Like that's kind of the thought that has to like, I think be in your head for running. I see that ideology of like, I can never be injured is in really good runners. And I think once somebody gets injured, if that ideology leaves a little bit, I think it's tough to like get it back. And I think you will get it back. And I think you got it back a little bit on a workout you did last week of like running those 540 pace again and like cruising. But I think that would be like the only critique is like, I hope that comes back this year. And I think it will. Careful
what you ask for. We got a
I know, because
6x2K tomorrow.
I'm now basically creating a situation that it's going to be a lot harder to run you down with that. But like we said, we all want to run, like I want Josh to run a 115 low, 114, whatever at some point this 73 year. But
let's do it.
But yeah, I think I think that's my only critique, because the other
I
two
like
things
it.
were like, God, your bike intensity was huge, and you made a big jump in swimming, so we have to critique the run. That's a third option.
Yeah, you just woke up the debt collector. He's coming
I
for
know,
you.
I know,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah. Be smart on that run workout tomorrow, though, Josh. Be conservative and be smart. Okay, let's go Benny now. So, what Benny has done well this offseason, I think, is very obvious. He's trained, I'll say, the second hardest of anybody in America, I think.
Yeah.
Probably Ari first.
Ari's first.
Yeah.
Is clear far and away first. Morgan Pearson, I'm sure, has been training very hard too. We'll say Morgan's in there.
What would define off season? What's the time frame of the off season?
Let's say January to now.
Okay.
Let's say the last 5-6 weeks.
Okay.
Let's
I
say
was
that
gonna say-
because like La Quinta to Christmas doesn't count. Just give that as everybody takes time off at that time period, because he was coming off an injury. Yes.
Yeah, because what I had down was I thought he did a really good job at like separating himself from his triathlete identity and like focusing on other parts of his life, which I think that's a very healthy part of any professional athlete's off season. Is a little bit of that separation from that big training grind. So I was
Picked up a
really
career,
proud
too.
and happy of Ben for that.
Yep. Started your career too, man, which is big. That's I think actually the most important part, was with the hard training, which is maybe the cool shiny part to see of the off season, was now you're balancing it with a career.
And he's willing to be like, he's gone from the guy that was like, when we met him, he was known as like the crazy guy who does 35-hour training weeks, and within that's a 100-mile running week. And oh my gosh, who else does that? And he's been able to step back and say, okay, I don't always have to be that guy. I can always also be like smart about my training and listen to people in my life and coaches and try other ways of like getting better and continuing to grow in the sport. So I thought that was really cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
agree.
man.
I think
I also think he's
that's
been building
the combination. Go ahead, Cal. Yeah.
and building the workouts really well. Like it seems like each week is kind of stacked and progressed really, like ever since we've been doing the podcast of, just kind of increasing up to the 16 by 1K at threshold. Like that is, even though like the volume is ridiculous, it's still very intelligently programmed so that it's increasing and moving the right levers at the right time.
Yeah, and I think it only looks ridiculous to people who don't know how Benny was training before. I think it's the same way with Ari. When people talk about Ari's training, is you always have to remember somebody's training history and making sure that for that person, you're giving the system a stimulus. And that stimulus is going to look different for everybody. To some people, a 40-mile run week with 10 hours on the bike and even 15K swimming would be the max stimulus you could give them, and throwing intensity in there would be a mind-boggling amount for them. And maybe they could sustain it for 4 to 6 weeks. For Ben, he was coming off of 30, 35-hour training weeks. Bringing it down to 25 to 28 range consistently is hard mentally for him to do, but it also is going to bring about this new stimulus where we get to put in a lot of intensity. And that was the switch, is a lot of threshold intensity into those hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so what could Benny have done better? I think me and Josh will have an opinion on this. I'm going to say, God, it's like it was a really good offseason, except for just there were a couple moments where it's like that stuff we've talked about before, the very addictive personality to the grind of the sport and just aerobic sports themselves, which I get, as me and Josh have talked about too, is there is this addictive personality that loves endurance sports. And I think Ben reeling that in, he's done well 80% of the time, and there's still 20% of the time that it shows through. Definitely.
Yeah, I would agree. Like the 4 hour, I'm just going to call myself out. There's like a random like 4 hour,
Zwift
4 hour like
race.
Zwift race, like in like November.
When was that? That was
October.
Yeah, that was in October. That was like off season.
You commented in Training Peaks like, what? Like I think you commented like, what the fuck is this?
There was the very recent double run days, what I'm thinking of. Everything else was doing well too, but you did have one day where it was just a random 6-mile run plopped in there. I was like, what, did your car break down? Like, did you need to?
Well, at least and I know we're kind of going back to what he did well, but at least he's like, Ben is actually running like 7-minute and like 8-minute miles
that's
on his easy stuff. When we first started coaching Ben,
never under 6:20, was as slow as we'd ever
seen. We had to
right?
pay him. The only time we got him to run slower than a 7-minute mile was we offered him money. And we actually
had marketing for our coaching here. We'll pay you as an athlete. That's you just have to do what we say. That's it.
That was incredible. And that
I have
that
never in my
that run,
life
I
had to
like
pay an
got
athlete to
faster.
run slower. I have
I
never had to pay an
You
athlete
guys
to run
just
slow.
paid me for the first 2 miles of that run. It was like 2 miles like slower than 7:30. And then
Yeah,
my dumbass, like the rest of the run, I like descended to like the X5 pace.
like get paid. That is too
Idiot.
funny. No, but it's great. I mean, it's
Man, I
a
got a
fun
question.
progression to watch. It really is. And go ahead, Kel. Yeah.
So I know we didn't really want to talk too much about December, November, but he was dealing with an injury, so he had kind of an extended off season. How much did you swim end in November into December? Because unless you didn't upload it to a Strava, it looked like zero.
I
It
was
was
swimming
Strava
just
vacation.
about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was on Strava hiatus.
Yeah, we
I
forced you
think
to
Oh,
have
I
Strava
was
well,
hiatus.
I
swimming
feel stupid.
most days.
No,
No,
Kel,
no,
that's
no, it's
no. I'm
okay.
glad you brought that up, Kel. That's perfect.
I was
Yeah, no,
I had some words, but
No, the reason we did that, Kel, is because it became performative on Strava and trying to like outdo
yeah.
people. So Strava needed to leave for a little bit.
Again, that's
That's a
something
good
like I've
point there,
seen.
Kel. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been honest about, and like it's hard as an athlete to see what everybody's doing online and not want to go do that. Like that's something like you guys
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, like patience and like being patient as an athlete and trusting the process and trusting your coach is something that's so challenging now that we have access to basically everybody's training all the time. And Ben's
Everything.
just done such a good job of reining it back. I know he wants to go, but yeah, I can tell even in the last year, like there's been a lot of maturity and a lot of growth.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks,
Definitely.
man.
Yeah, we had like me growing up in the sport like 20 years ago, like we had no idea what people were
Dude, I
doing.
had
I mean,
no clue what anybody
you
else was doing.
had
Yeah.
you had what your coach was giving you, and you had like what you were reading in like a magazine, like an interview, and
Mm-hmm.
some pro athlete would give like a
What Mark
boilerplate
Allen was
1
doing.
week breakdown of like
Yeah.
what he was doing.
Probably their Kingpin volume week 2 they ever did. And we thought in our head, it was like, that's what they do every week.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta.
But yeah, I can't imagine like just like growing up into the sport and just knowing like every workout like exactly to the watt what people are doing. So
You guys have it
it's
tough. I didn't even know what a watt was until I stayed away from power meters for a while. All right, guys, knock me out quick. We'll do like 2-3 minutes for me, and then we'll wrap this pod up.
all right, Mr. Price. What did he do? Well, okay. So for one, I feel like you took a real off season, or a real like break post Lakina, and you didn't really like. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got sick maybe once or twice, but yeah, there's been no like real like weird nagging injuries or anything. You kept yourself relatively healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've just seen like, you've just been like put in a lot of work on the bike. I mean, you're getting like really strong on the bike and very little like complaining or adjusting or changing the workout. It's like you see what's there, you get it done, check the box, move on to the next day.
Doing my best there. Trying. Ari doesn't like complaining, so I have to.
He's also doing a good job. I've seen him at the pool a ton and just kind of hopping in, doing the drills that he has been assigned and not he like has like we've swam together last year a lot. You like to mess around with the drills and doing the little like the drills and the set as prescribed, kind of going off what Josh said, is important because there's a reason it's prescribed the way it is. And that's been definitely a little bit of a change. And I think the stress of a season gets to you and taking a little bit of time down really resets that and kind of refocuses you on here's what we got to focus on.
Yeah, it was tough taking some time out of the pool, honestly. Because Kale knows I'm a very insecure swimmer, so I always feel like I need to be getting touches in the water. So it did suck to take a little bit of time away, but the swim came back quick.
I feel like run development has been like it's one of those things that doesn't like show up over on like a training plan or a Strava, so to speak. Sorry, Mabel's like trying to bite my hand off right now.
I love knowing Maple's there. It's awesome.
She's like literally jumping all over me.
Maple's the best.
Hey, what's up? So I feel like it's one of those things that like just the more you've like just made like steady progress on it over, I mean, even just the time that I've like known you, you've been my coach. I feel like you've just like steadily committed yourself to like run training and to strides and just to like everything from like learning about like the mechanical impact of strides. Like, I mean, obviously you're a PT, but like learning how that benefits you, like from a running perspective. And like it paid off big time, like looking at the end of the year last year with you throwing down like a major run.
Negative split.
At Indian Wells. Yeah.
Negative split to a PR.
You have to be a strong runner to negative split that at the end of a half Ironman. So like
It only took me like 15 years in the sport to get that down. It's my only negative split.
Well, it's trending up. Like the run is
Yeah.
definitely trending up. So
That's my plan every race now. So that's the game plan now.
nice.
All right, criticize me, guys, and then we're done here. What have I done poorly this offseason since January? We'll say La Quinta I biked poorly and swam poorly, so that was that offseason.
Actually, Evan, I looked at the splits today at La Quinta because I wanted to see, and I was like, "Oh, I outbiked you by 5 minutes." It was 15 seconds. It was literally like a wind gust would have made the difference.
I was gonna let you think it was 5 minutes, though. I knew it wasn't 5 minutes, but I wanted you to carry that confidence into Dallas, though, Cale.
Don't worry, I'm not. I know you're coming. Don't worry.
Evan, are you doing your strength training? Because I'm still not seeing you logging
you caught me on
your
my
strength
last
training
2
and training
weeks.
peaks.
I have not. Okay, let me defend myself here. There was 2 weeks I have not. The when I got like it was, I had a couple busy clinical days, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna do it. And then I left the clinic on Tuesday at 6:15, and I was like, I should have just done it then. And then the training week got going, and I just couldn't squeeze it in again. Next week came, and I started doing it, and then we had a meeting. So that is a good catch, Josh. Yes, I need to get back to that. But the good news is I did the previous week before that set a record on my knee extension torque. It was the first time my right knee ever beat my left knee in me testing that for the last 2 years. My right knee has never beaten my left knee in that test because I've had a lot of issues with my right knee over the years. So
that's good to hear.
But yes, I do need to get on that. That is a good catch.
So let me ask you this. So because I know how you and I both work when there's workouts scheduled and training peaks. If the weight session, the strength session was plugged into training peaks, because right now we're just leaving it up to you to do it and plug it in on your own. But if we schedule it for like a Tuesday afternoon or a Wednesday night,
there's a red.
You would do it,
and I don't like a red. Yeah,
you gotta do that for me too. I think I would do that. Yeah,
we'll plug that in for Ben too. Yeah, we need all because a red is bad.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, red is bad.
Yeah, red is. I know somebody listening to this is probably like, we're joking, guys. Don't worry. Red is only bad if you're obsessed at this level that we are with the sport. If you have a life and other stuff, it's okay to have a red every once in a while.
If you're listening at this point, then yeah, red is bad.
Yeah, exactly. If you're still stuck in on this, no, red is bad and it makes you bad. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. One critique I do have of Evan's training.
Give me, I want Cale to criticize my swim. Like, I want somebody to dig into the worst swimmer on this podcast swim.
No, it's not even your swim. It's just for a guy who got hurt running last year, you're doing a hell of a lot of really hard run workouts in January and February. That's all I'm going to say.
Point two.
Cale, you forgot I'm completely invincible, though. So that's...
You need that mindset.
Just legit. Believe,
Cale,
conceive, achieve.
I think, Josh, I might have told you this, that I had, like, as a PT, this is a terrible confession I'm making this. I had convinced myself I could not get injured until I had this hip injury recently. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, my bones are not completely invincible. I had gone a very long injury. Well, I'll say injury-free streak. I did have a bizarre neck thing, but basically trained straight through that as best as I could. I was back swimming, Josh, you remember, 4 days later.
That was weird.
Cassie had to witness me actually crying on the couch. That was the only time I ever legitimately cried from an injury. I've never been in as much pain as that in my entire life.
Wait, did that happen in Maui? Days. Did that happen in Maui and then you brought it home?
It was on the way back from Maui. I worked through the night on the flight. Like, I was just working, and then I went to that swim in the morning with you, remember? And we were doing hard set, and then all of a sudden I went to breathe and I couldn't feel my right arm. I was dragging it through the water, and then I got in the water. We did the run together after that. I was dragging my arm, got in the car, and then all of a sudden I couldn't turn my head. Not a safe way to drive home, but outside of that, I've been basically injury free outside of the hip. But Cale's right.
Yeah, if I had to.
I think we're walking. So Cale, I'll tell you, it was this time last year, literally this exact time last week. It would have been last week this year was when my hip started hurting. Josh probably remembers the training peak comments. How did I phrase it, Josh? I was like, hip just feels a little tight, but warmed up well.
Yeah, warmed up.
I was just lying to my coach. It hurt all the time. So bad. I mean, my bone was breaking. It was bad. Benny knows this. When your femur starts to break, it is, it's, God, and it's in your head, and I'm trying to convince myself I have labral tear. So I'm like, it's just a labral tear. It's just a labral tear. But you deep down know. And I was just I still remember I did like a 14-mile run, and it was a great run still. It was when I was in Seattle, Josh. And I remember just putting in there, I was like, guys, I think this didn't feel great. Like this felt bad. And I just like kind of limped through that run. And it was just downhill from there, basically. But
Well, then there was like a key run that you were doing off the bike and well, like maybe some 2Ks or something like that. And Cassie was going to ride with you with like the water bottles and like film content. And you texted Ari and I and said, I told Cassie, like, ignore whatever I do for the first 20 minutes because I'm just going to look bad, but it'll warm up and it'll be better once I get through 20 minutes.
I actually got through that workout too. I actually did do that. I could go back to that workout. It was bad. It hurt so bad. That was so much pain. I remember that run. That was, oh God.
Running
I don't know
through
why
pain.
in my head.
Running through pain
Like, I
is
don't know
probably
why
one
in
of the
my
worst
head I thought it was
things.
just going to go away by Oceanside. Like, it's just delusional. Like, you know, I'm a PT. If I ever had a patient describe that situation to me, I'd be like, yep, we're shutting it down. Time to get an MRI. But in my head, I thought I was just like, this thing will feel better the next run. It's just going to feel better. And that was week after week, and it just didn't. And then got to the point where needed the MRI. I was very ready to race in Oceanside though till the day before, and then my ortho called me with the MRI results like the day before the race. Thank God. I think it would have been a much worse stress fracture if I would have ran through it like Justin Reale did, like 2023 or whatever he did. Yeah.
Don't pull a Justin Reale.
Oh, poor Justin. I know, tough guy, but yeah, not smart. All right, guys, we went way over. I lied. I said we were going to go under an hour. We went like an hour 20 on this, but it'll get edited down. So, all right, guys, great episode. We got the boys back here. We'll see if we have another guest on. I really like us four. I don't want to kick anybody else off. The only guest we might try to convince to get on, but he's a busy guy, would be Ari Clow. But just squeezing into his schedule these days, like, man, I mean, the guy, you know, he's got NBC Sports knocking at his door. I'm sure he's got ESPN. You know, he's got everybody.
He's got 60 by 400 next week. So yeah.
I don't even blame him for not wanting to do pie. If I did the workouts he does, I would just be dead on the couch every single day.
Will our corporate overlord throw him a bone?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get Bali on. I would love to have Bali on. Bali just gets to come on and roast all of us for an hour and then just leave.
We haven't gave it to a podcast to a bunch of 500 ranked pros.
Yes, exactly.
What was your swim set last Monday?
Bali should do that. You guys know the old Comedy Central roast. Bali should just do that on our. I need to give him that as an idea. Is just Bali roast something.
That'd be awesome. He'd be great at that. Yeah,
he would. That's what he was made for. All right, guys. Great seeing you all. See you next week.
See ya. Peace.